God of War is a sad game. As such, the life of Kratos is filled with much tragedy and pain. To achieve this, Santa Monica used a writing trope known as Greek tragedy. A Greek tragedy is a type of play where the main character goes through a series of hardships due to their own failures and failures imposed on them by others. They were often about a character of significant importance, and they were originally made to worship the gods, ironically fitting the life of Kratos. To understand the tragic elements of the God of War series, we need to start with its central character, Kratos. From the very beginning, we see him as a powerful, almost godlike figure with immense strength. And I say almost godlike because in the beginning, Kratos was a demigod born to Zeus and Callisto. And it is only later in the series that we see him take the throne of the God of War from Ares that he becomes a true god. Born in ancient Sparta, Kratos experienced a rough upbringing from birth. The raising of young men in Sparta is often acknowledged and depicted as some of the most brutal and grueling in history. They are raised to be tough, ruthless warriors, and are some of the most effective there has ever been, with Kratos being one of the best. And yes, I know I used 300 footage here, but I think it is very cool and just fit in with what I was speaking about at the time quite well. The gods of Olympus that the Spartans believed in were obsessed with remaining in control and being all-powerful. Like many Greek myths, the life of Kratos started with Zeus being a serial adulterer and having the demigod's son as a result. Through Zeus's desire to remain all-powerful, he became obsessed with prophecy, and the Sisters of Fate informed him of the destiny of Olympus, that it was to be destroyed by a tattooed warrior. In God of War Ghost of Sparta, we see a cutscene of Kratos and his brother Deimos sparring, and he knocks Deimos to the ground, saying a Spartan warrior never falls on his back.
A Spartan warrior never lets his back hit the ground. Even in death, a Spartan stands tall for battle. You are a Spartan, are you not?
Yes, Kratos.
While training, an army of centaurs destroys their village. An army of centaurs sent by Athena and Ares. And in the chaos, they kidnap Deimos. This is the first sequence in many tragedies during Kratos' life. His brother is taken, he is helpless to try and save him, and he believes his brother is dead, but it is much, much worse than that. He later finds his brother in the domain of death, where he has been being tortured by Thanatos for 20 years. He tries to free him and succeeds, but his brother does not forgive him straight away.
Brother, you are safe now. Safe! You let this happen to me! You were supposed to protect me! Did you think I would forget? Did you think I would forgive? I will never forgive you, brother.
Deimos is taken again, this time by Thanatos, but this time Kratos is able to save his brother, and Deimos forgives him, realizing he never forgot him.
A Spartan never lets his back hit the ground. Right, brother? I will not lose you again, Deimos.
But just as Deimos forgives Kratos and they fight Thanatos together, Deimos is killed, and Kratos then brutally kills Thanatos in a blind fit of rage. But he feels no relief from his rage and anguish, as he relives the pain of losing his brother all over again. Having to relive the death of his brother, whom he already thought he had lost so many years ago, also comes after many tragedies before it that we will talk about later. Kratos grows up to become a Spartan general and leader of an army. He goes on to win many battles and destroy many cities. During a battle against a merciless barbarian horde, Kratos found himself outnumbered, overpowered, and about to be killed by Ulrich the Barbarian King. In a moment of desperation we have witnessed a few times from Kratos, he begs Ares to save him and offers his life and servitude if he destroys his enemies.
Ares! Destroy my enemies, and my life is yours!
Ares obliges and binds the blades of chaos, burning them into Kratos' skin, solidifying his servitude to the gods for good. To try and make Kratos into the ultimate warrior, Ares instructed him to destroy a village that served as an affront to him, as it was to worship Athena. But upon destroying the village, he finds Ares had put his wife and daughter in there, and he had murdered them in cold blood. Kratos was filled with a thirst for power and rage, and this led him to do many heinous things, but this act is the first that sends him down the path it does, and fuels his hatred for the gods. As he leaves the house that his wife and daughter reside in, the ash of his dead family are imbued into his skin, as the village oracle says.
From this night forward, the mark of your terrible deed will be visible to all. The ashes of your wife and child will remain fastened to your skin, never to be removed.
And with that curse, all would know him for the beast he had become. His skin white with the ash of his dead family. The ghost of Sparta had been born.
I think this is the next tragedy in his life after Deimos being kidnapped, and probably the hardest for him to endure, as he is never the same after this. We see him talk about Calliope in God of War Ragnarok when Freya asks him if he can even begin to understand the pain of losing a child. And this is also how we know he still thinks of Deimos, as he speaks to Freya about him and what he has lost when trying to help with her arguments with her brother.
My daughters, in the service of a cruel god, I was tricked into destroying a village, not knowing my own wife and child were there until their blood stained my hands. I swore revenge.
I can't imagine.
I paid back their blood 1,000 times and burned Olympus to the ground. Yet, the guilt remained.
You have a brother?
His name was Deimos. When we were boys, he was taken by two gods obsessed with prophecy. The gods of my homeland seldom left survivors, so by the time I learned he had lived, it was too late for amends. His anger poisoned him against me. But I never stopped loving my brother.
Kratos' family was always the thing he loved most, and he killed them himself. And that is a heavy burden for him to bear, both literally and figuratively, with the ash upon his skin. In God of War Ghost of Sparta, we also find that Kratos' mother was cursed to become a monster by the gods. And Kratos has to slay her and put down his own mother, once again having to kill his own family against his own will. Upon the pain that Ares has caused Kratos, he decides to break his oath to the gods. To do this, he has to kill the Oathkeeper Orcus. Kratos does not wish to do this, as he doesn't want to spill any more innocent blood. But Orcus, the son of Ares, feels like a disgrace and just wants an honourable death. Kratos, showing a rare moment of compassion, obliges and kills him. Although Orcus receives his wish, this does cement Kratos' rivalry with the gods. Kratos serves the gods under the promise that it will remove the memories of his wrongdoings from his mind, and his last servitude given to him by Athena to receive this was to kill Ares. Upon doing so, he is offered the throne of the god of war, which he accepts. However, he soon finds out they do not have the power to remove the memory of his sins from his mind, saying that some things are too awful to be forgiven, and this causes all the further events of the rest of the games in the Greek saga, of him executing the gods out of rage for the pain they have caused him through fear of prophecy. They destroyed Kratos' life and brought their own destruction. This is also why Kratos believes all gods exist only to serve themselves, as we see in God of War 2018 when Kratos tells Atreus, mortals are not to serve the gods. We do see these opinions change though, as Kratos finds out about Tyr later on. At the end of God of War 3, we see Kratos finally get his catharsis after killing Zeus. However, after getting the vengeance he desired for so long, he seems solemn, and the rage is still there, but all the rage, pain, anguish, all those emotions he feels are directed at no one but himself anymore. Upon feeling he has no reason to live anymore, after destroying Olympus, his home, losing everyone that he loves, he impales himself upon the blade of Olympus, releasing the power of hope to all the mortals and allowing them a chance at life. After this, as we know, God of War 2018 occurs. In the Norse saga, Kratos met a new woman named Faye, whom he loved and had a son named Atreus with. Kratos wasn't really there for the beginning of his son's life though, as he spends most of his time in the woods fighting bears and only defending himself to try and control his anger. He starts trying to learn to control his rage and anger and become a better father to his son, to lead him down the right path. Kratos loathes the man he once was, and desires nothing more than to be a better man and a good influence on his son. He is determined to break the cycle of patricide, violence, and gods killing gods, but he feels the ghost of Sparta is just under his skin, even though he is trying so hard to change. After killing Magni, Modi, Balder, Heimdall, and then leading the Battle of Ragnarok, Kratos believes he can never escape the cycle of seeking vengeance and needless murder, completely displaying the inescapable nature of Greek tragedies, as he cannot get from this cycle as hard as he tries. We do see Kratos and Atreus having their conversation about how Atreus needs to open his heart and not close it as he once told him to, as that was his and his mother's wish. They now fight for justice, not vengeance, but Kratos still finds himself fighting, and he wants nothing more than a peaceful life now, free from war, violence, and all this needless murder that he is surrounded by, that he can never seem to escape, no matter how hard he is trying, no matter how far he goes away from everything.
Today, we will be better.
Fate is a very real thing in God of War that we are shown exists, but can be changed, but only by extreme measures, or going against your own nature. Kratos repeatedly changes prophecy, as we see when he kills the sisters of Fate, and when he changes the prophecy of Ragnarok. Kratos may be able to change fate, but he still experiences the suffering and torment he is fated to, and once again, he cannot escape. Although seemingly immune to fate, he still accidentally fulfills the story of the tragic life that was laid out for him. The gods may have gotten the prophecy wrong by taking Deimos, but the prophecy is still fulfilled by another tattooed warrior, and he is doomed to carry that pain with him. When Kratos goes to retrieve the Blades of Chaos so he can go to Helheim to save his son, we see another change. Kratos picking up the blades used to slay his wife and daughter, now being used to save his son. He, however, once again has to pick up a past he swore he would never dig up, displaying again the inescapable nature of the Greek tragedy. This is also where we see Athena return and tell him he will always be a monster, reminding him of his deeds and now he cannot escape the terrible things that he has done.
There's nowhere you can hide, Spartan. The gods will not let you escape. They 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 will not let you escape. Put as much distance between you and the truth as you want. It changes nothing. Pretend to be everything you are not. Teacher, husband, father. But there is one unavoidable truth you will never escape. You cannot change. You will always be a monster.
I know. But I am your monster no longer.
When he sees his father, Zeus, in Helheim, he is also reminded of all the regret he holds, and the pain that his actions have caused so many others. In Kratos' journal in God of War Ragnarok, we also see him mention the boat captain, a reoccurring character from the original trilogy, who is killed for comedic value, except now he is given a deeper lore reason, and it's showing that he does feel remorse for his deeds, even to the most seemingly unimportant people, as he has killed many innocent lives. Kratos suffers the consequences of his actions at the ultimate culmination of the complete destruction of his homeland Greece. However, this destruction did come with him killing Zeus and finally fulfilling his vengeance. This is the first cathartic experience Kratos has as he releases a large release of years of rage, anger and unrelenting fury. He does, however, have a different positive experience at the end of Ragnarok. At the end of God of War Ragnarok, we see Kratos see a prophecy where he is a god of peace and a rebuilder, and he finally receives the redemption that he has desired for so long. And he even feels himself that he has redeemed himself. This is the most vulnerable we have ever seen Kratos, as he even sheds a few tears and is almost whimpering. Now, the end of God of War 3 was a true Greek tragedy, with it ending in Kratos' death by the blade of Olympus, the destruction of Greece, the death of his father, the loss of millions of lives, and him essentially killing his whole family. This ending does follow the true tropes of a Greek tragedy, as he never truly wins, he can't get back all he has lost, and he has to live with the memories of everything he has lost. The Norse saga does take a different path, and we still experience tragic moments such as Brock's death, Freya losing Balder, and Thor's death, but we don't really experience any tragedy towards Kratos other than him having to grieve Faye. We do see a cathartic release though at the end of Ragnarok, where Kratos says bye to Atreus and lets him go on his own journey to find the Jotuns, and he says Loki will go, but Atreus will stay, and we see some real emotion as the two share an embrace.
Loki will go. Atreus remains.
This moment does always make me choke up a little bit as well. It really gets me. Now, this does bend the rules a bit. However, that being said, we also aren't in the original Greek trilogy anymore, and they've taken a different path, where it's a tragic story, but it does have a wholly good ending. There are tragic elements throughout, such as the war and the loss of life, but I believe they are there to display the sacrifices people are willing to make and the consequences of war. But God of War, the original Greek trilogy, is definitely a Greek tragedy.
I will have my revenge!
Excellent child! I will tolerate your insolence no more!
Zeus?
My father.
Your father was Zeus? Well, that explains a lot.
You must say nothing to the boy. He must never know.
Bollocks, brother. Respectfully, bollocks. He has to know. He'll never be whole without the truth.
No. He is beaten. Not worth killing. You did not see me with someone. An old man.
What old man?
You do not know everything, boy.
No. But at least I know the truth now.
Truth. Truth. Pandora, no!
You know why I'm here. You brought me here to do this.
I will find another way.
No, Kratos. There is no other way. Let me go!
No, child!
I am not a child! You're hurting me!
Pandora was sacrificed in vain. She died because of my need for vengeance. My vengeance ends now.
Kratos, no!
And now look what you have wrought. Look at this. Look at it. They're dying because of you.
Freya!
Everything is dying because of you. The sun is gone. The ocean swallowed the land. Disease infects what remains. I am doing all I can to keep them alive. But you...
You disappoint me, Spartan.
Your ruthless murdering of the gods has caused all of this!
around at what you have done.
He saved your life.
He robbed me of everything! Everything!
Such chaos. I will have much to do after I kill you.
I did this to him. You help me? Freya. He chose this.
Come on. We're so close to the end now.
Yes. Yes, we are.
Face me, father. It is time to end this. Yes, my son. It is time.
I killed my father.
It was your father in hell.
Come on, we gotta go! In the darkness, the fires of hope will set us free.
Boy. Listen close. I'm from a land called Sparta. I made a deal with the god that cost me my soul.
No matter how many gods fall, there will always be another to stand against you.
They will fall as well.
The cycle ends here. You must be better than this.
Is this what it is to be a god? Is this how it always ends? Sons killing their mothers? Their fathers?
No. We will be the gods we choose to be.
It has remained buried, trapped by your guilt and the failures of your past. When you killed Zeus, you must have allowed something to awaken it. What was it, Kratos?
Hope is what makes us strong. It is why we are here. It is what we fight with when all else is lost.
What was it, Kratos?
Who I was is not who you be. better.